BIONICLE Mask of Light. Written by C.A. Hapka. Narrated by Numbskill. Chapter 13. Battle. Onua and Pohatu were conferring in the center courtyard of Onukoro when they heard footsteps approaching from one of the tunnels. Pohatu saw an exhausted-looking mussel crab trotting toward him. His eyes widened in surprise as he recognized the figure riding atop the Yoso's back. "Chronicler!" Pohatu exclaimed, as Takua and Puku made their way toward the toa. "Where is the herald?" Takua looked tired and uncertain.
We got separated," he said. "After we met the Rakshi."
Onua and Pohatu exchanged a glance. "What is Rakshi?" Pohatu asked Takua. Before Takua could answer, the ground shuddered. The villagers around them cried out in alarm. Suddenly the cavern wall burst open, and three tall, horrifying figures leaped into view, hissing angrily.
"Those!"
Takua cried, pointing to the Rakshi. He blinked, realizing that the colors were different.
"Except different ones!"
"Clear the cave!"
Onua shouted.
"And close the tunnel behind you!"
The Onomatoran scattered, racing for the tunnels leading away from the cavern. Meanwhile, Onua and Pohatu faced the three Rakshi.
"Let me show you a real Onukoro welcome!"
Onua rumbled. He slammed his fists onto the ground, creating an elemental tidal wave of earth and stone. The wave rippled toward the Rakshi and swallowed them. But when the wave had passed, the Rakshi rose up again, unharmed. Onua grunted in surprise. The Hunger Rakshi leaped toward him, wielding its staff. Onua grabbed at the staff, trying to pull it away. Meanwhile, Pohatu raced toward the Fear Rakshi. The creature raised its staff, sending dark energy waves rippling out from it. As soon as Pohatu hit the circle of energy, he stopped in mid-stride, his eyes filled with dark fear.
"No,"
he whimpered, mesmerized by the overwhelming, inescapable fear. All of his worst fears seemed to be exploding within him.
"Water. Sinking. Drowning."
The Hunger Rakshi hissed at Onua as they struggled over the staff. The creature activated the staff. Dark hunger energy flooded into Onua, instantly draining him of power, channeling it instead back into the Rakshi's staff.
"My strength,"
Onua whispered weakly.
"My power."
His eyes dimmed and he fell over backward, landing with a mighty crash. He couldn't move. His energy was completely gone, replaced by a gnawing, devastating hunger.
"Onua!"
Pohatu cried. Still imprisoned by a wall of fear, Pohatu was unable to help, and the more he struggled against it, the more the terror overwhelmed him, until, with a final moan of helplessness, he collapsed to the ground. Takua tried to avoid the fleeing villagers as he and Puku searched for escape as well. The three Rakshi turned and spotted him in the crowds. Knocking other Matoran out of the way, they stalked after him with a hiss. Puku found her way to a tunnel while the Rakshi were still halfway back across the large cavern. Takua breathed out in relief. They were going to make it. Then he turned and saw the scene behind him. The Rakshi were stomping on huts and shoving aside terrified Onumatoran. Onua and Pohatu were still sprawled motionless on the cavern floor.
"This is my fault,"
Takua realized.
"They're destroying everything in their path to get to me."
His eyes hardened with resolve. Grabbing a koli stick that was leaning against a hut nearby, he turned Puku to face the approaching Rakshi.
"Yeah, Puku!"
he shouted, urging the Ussel onward.
"Yeah!"
Puku tried to do as he said, but so many villagers were fleeing, flowing around them in their race for the tunnel, that they could hardly move forward. Finally, Takua gave up. Slumping to the ground, he closed his eyes and waited for the Rakshi to reach him. Puku whined frantically, trying to get him to move, but he pushed her claw aside.
"Go find a real hero,"
he mumbled miserably.
"What can I do?"
Tahu, Lewa, and Gali raced through a tunnel, heading toward the main cavern of Onu Koro. They skidded to a stop as they reached the end of the tunnel and saw the mayhem in the cavern. Tahu's eyes flashed with anger as he took it in. The poisoned taint, which had spread to cover half of his face, glowed angrily as well. He leaped into the cavern without a word. "Tahu!" Lewa cried, grabbing at him. But it was too late.
Rakshi!
Tahu bellowed furiously, racing toward the creatures. He charged at the Anger Rakshi first. The Anger Rakshi banged its staff on the ground. A ring of dark energy rippled across the cavern floor, hitting Tahu and knocking him off his feet. The fire toa landed with a grunt on the hard ground. Gali and Lewa leaped out of the tunnel and raced toward the action. Lewa spotted a small figure huddled on the ground near the Rakshi. "The Chronicler," he thought in surprise, "and his crab friend Puku. Looks like they're in bad need of a rescue." He glided toward them, grabbing Takua in one arm and Puku in the other. The Rakshi hissed in frustration as they saw their quarry fly away across the cavern. They turned and stalked after him. Tahu's eyes glowed dark, anger energy flashing across them. The poison taint had spread once again and now covered his entire mask. He leaped to his feet. Gali gasped as she saw that it wasn't just Tahu's mask that was poisoned now. The taint had spread across his entire body.
"The Rakshi's anger energy must have caused it to spread more rapidly,"
she thought in alarm. She took a step toward him.
"Brother!"
she said with concern.
Fire has no brothers,
Tahu howled.
Fire consumes all!
He slammed his swords into the ground. Jagged fissures of lava burst into life and tore across the ground in all directions. Gali balanced on a pillar of earth as fire consumed the ground on either side. Tahu looked at her, but there was no recognition in his eyes, only anger. He slammed his swords down again, sending another fissure of lava right at Gali. She somersaulted away just in time as the ground exploded into flame. Across the cavern, Lewa glided down and deposited Takua and Puku beside Onua and Pohatu.
"No thought thinking,"
the Toa ordered Takua breathlessly.
"Quick speed to Jala! Warn him!"
I will," Takua called as the air Toa glided away, heading toward Tahu and Gali. Takua led the way as he and Puku raced toward an escape tunnel. But a few strides away, the Usul veered suddenly, heading through a narrow foundry doorway instead.
"Puku!" Takua cried. "Where are you going?"
He followed her. A moment later, the Rakshi disappeared through the foundry door as well. At that moment back in the cavern, Pohatu finally came to and sat up. He glanced at Onua, who was pushing himself up right nearby.
"Rise and shine, brother,"
Pohatu joked weakly. Onua merely groaned in response. The heat rolled over Takua in waves as he followed Puku into the depths of the foundry. Several fires blazed beneath narrow exhaust chimneys cut into the rock ceiling. Mine cars loaded with light stone sat on their tracks, waiting to move out.
"Dead end,"
Takua realized as he stared around the chamber.
"There's no way out except the way we came, and we can't go that way."
The trio of Rakshi emerged from the entry tunnel into the foundry chamber with a loud hiss. Puku raced toward one of the chimneys. She grunted urgently at Takua and leaped up, scrambling for a hold on the rough rock sides. Takua took a deep breath. What choice did he have? He leaped up, following the Usul into the soot-blackened chimney. As he struggled to climb up the chimney, he heard the Rakshi hissing directly beneath him. He tried to climb faster, but it was no use. The Fear Rakshi was right behind him. It lunged up, grabbing for his foot. End of chapter 13.